Hello, hello, all you beautiful people. We have done a lot on computegrid, which is fair considering there is a lot we can do. That being said, one of the things we're able to do is to pull and transfer files from a private instance to our personal machines. To do that, of course, let's go ahead and get an instance running by going to the All Instances page, selecting the machine we want to use, and then clicking Start Instance. And while we wait, if you're new to the platform, welcome! computegrid is a peer-to-peer GPU resource sharing platform that is different from others in that its creators are AI enthusiasts. They wanted to make it easy enough that anyone could come up upon the platform, rent out additional GPU power, and start using AI text image models like SDXL or large language models like Llama 3. computegrid then takes it a step further by making video tutorials like this one to ensure that the process can be as pain-free as possible. So feel free to subscribe for more videos geared towards simplifying AI use, and/or just hop on the platform and tell us your thoughts. We'd really appreciate hearing from you guys. And now that our instance has started, let's go ahead and actually create something to transfer over first. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead to Stable Diffusion, and then just click the Launch SDXL button. This button clicks, installs, and runs Stable Diffusion for me while setting up ComfyUI as our graphical user interface. So all I have to do is just wait a little bit, and then click a link. You should now be looking at the default workflow for ComfyUI. And I'm just going to go ahead and click Prompt a few times, and just generate a few images that are going to be in our history. And these are images that we'll go ahead and see in an output folder later. I think 4 is fine for now. So let's go ahead and go back to our instance detail page. Now, if we want to go ahead and access these images, the first thing we need to do is open up 2 terminals. I already have 2 open on the side, and we're going to want to leave one as is connected to our personal machine, and the other we're going to use to SSH and access our instance. So to begin with SSH, we're going to go ahead and copy over this command here. So copy and paste into our terminal, and then click enter. We'll respond with yes, and then copy in our randomly generated SSH password. We should now be inside of our instance. If we go ahead and use the ls command, which stands for list, it will list everything inside of our instance. Now, since we're trying to access images generated by ComfyUI, we're going to go ahead and type in cd for change directory, and we're going to change into the ComfyUI folder. We'll use ls one more time, and then there is this output folder I mentioned earlier. If we go ahead and cd into output, and then use our list command one more time, we'll see the 4 generated images from earlier. So let's say I wanted to move one of these over into my personal machine. Well, first I'm going to go back into my personal terminal, and I'm going to choose the location of where I want to put this folder, or where I want to put this file. So I have a bunch of my folders listed, and the pictures folder is the perfect location. So I'm going to cd into pictures, and if I ls here, we can see I have a few other folders, but I think pictures will be just fine for now. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and start typing, and this is going to be our main command, our SCP. This stands for Secure Copy Protocol, which is what we use to copy inside of a secure shell, also known as SSH. So we're going to do SCP, and then we're going to do -P for port, but this time it'll be capital P, and then we're going to type in that port number. So 20121. And this is going to look really familiar because now we're going to type in cg at computegrid.ai. It's very similar to our SSH command, but again, it is SCP, and then with our -P for port and port number in the beginning instead of towards the end. Now we're going to go ahead and do : which just stands for the home directory, which is this tilde backspace, and then we're going to put the location of what the file or where the file is I want to copy over. So I can go ahead and just copy this ComfyUI output folder, because again, that's where I want to go ahead and grab my file. Do / and then that file name. And then since I'm already in the location of where I want to be placed, I can just do space and then period, and then I'll go ahead and copy it over to that exact location. It will ask me for my password to verify that I am meant to have access to this instance. And just like that, it is installed. Or transferred over, really. If I do ls, I can see it's right there. But what if, instead of a file, I want the entire folder? Doesn't make sense to do file at a time. So let's go ahead, and if we use our up key, 1, 2, it'll go ahead and move us to our last input, or our last inputted command. And I'm just going to go ahead and remove this file name, I don't need the file, along with this backsplash. And then I'm going to go ahead and move to the very beginning, in front of where our -p is. I'm going to type in -r for recursive, which is the command we use to tell our terminal that we want to copy over an entire folder. And if we wanted to, we could use the same command from earlier, the space period, and it'll go ahead and copy the entire folder as is into our pictures folder. But it would copy it with the output name. So what if I wanted it to be a different name instead? Well, I'll just go ahead and place that name where the period would be. So I'm going to call this ComfyUI output. Just straightforward. I'm going to go ahead and type in my password now. Whoop. One more time. And we can see it installing all the images for me. If I go ahead and use the ls command, I can see, yep, there is my ComfyUI output. I can cd into it, ls, and see, yep, here is everything from my instance now inside my personal machine. But that's how you move things from your instance to your personal. What if I want it to do the other way around? What if, for example, I wanted to move over a downloaded model from my personal machine into the models folder on ComfyUI? Well, first, let me go ahead and pull up where that downloaded model is. So I'm going to cd, and I'm going to cd tilde to go all the way back home, ls see my folders, and cd into my downloads. If I do ls, we can see I already have a model available, the Eldritch Comics model. Now let me go into my instance terminal. I'm going to do cd ... to go back 1. And I'm going to want to move it into this models folder. If I do ls, I see that inside of this ComfyUI models folder, there are more folders with the model types. And I know this model is a LoRa, so I'm going to go ahead and cd into LoRa's. And there we go. This is going to be the location of where I want to move this downloaded model to. So I'm going to start still inside my personal machine and still type in the scp command, along with my -p for port and my port number. But instead of typing in this this computegrid or cg at computegrid.ai, we'll be starting with what we want to move in first. And since we're already inside this downloads folder, I don't need to say downloads. I can just go ahead and put this file name, since that's what I'm be moving over. So we can just copy it over and paste. Next, I can now put in my cg at computegrid.ai and then my colon for the location of where I want it to be. And I can just go ahead and copy this over. And that's it. I'm going to remove this extra space real quick. And perfect. We can go ahead and just type in enter. Our password per usual. And I'll go ahead and begin the download process for me. So it looks like our file was successfully installed, so let's just verify that by going back into our instance terminal and then doing ls. Perfect. we can see that we went from put lorist here to put lorist here and our Eldritch model. Well, folks, that is all for today. We have learned how to move files to and from our instance and personal machine, regardless of if it's a singular file or an entire folder. All the commands from today will be provided in the description below for you guys, so don't worry about that at all. I want to thank you guys so much for watching and for commenting. Let me know if you have any other questions or if there are any other videos you'd like to see next. But for now, thank you, and I hope you all have a marvelous day.